Killing Canaan's infants and babies, male and female, is as horrible as killing Chinese or African infants and babies. Telling the Canaan infants and babies they are to be killed specifically may not have made them feel better. Sam Shamounian says, Joshua 6:16, Joshua said to the people of Israel, the Lord has given you the city of Canaanites. All silver and gold and vessels of brass and iron are consecrated unto the Lord. They shall come into the treasury of the Lord. The people utterly, capital letters here by Sam, Hassamo, destroyed all that was in the city. So the people utterly, capitalization starts here, destroyed all that was in the city, both man and woman, young and old, and ox and sheep and ass, with the edge of the sword. Comment. Why is it that the Old Testament kept ordering faithful Israelites to kill asses, donkeys? Did Jews know beforehand that all four popular Christian Gospels, with many centuries in the future, report that Jesus, the mortal enemy to the Jews, will start his ministry by riding a donkey into Jerusalem? So the Jews wanted to kill all donkeys so that Jesus, the Christian God, or 1/3 of God, the Creator himself to the Christians, cannot get a ride to Jerusalem. And if he's, according to the Christians, is God, doesn't need a donkey to ride to Jerusalem. Sam Shamounian says, principle. God's goodness wants to lead us to repentance. Romans 2:4. But where people consistently resist God, judgment will come. Romans 2:5, both in the day of judgment as well as in this world. God gives the command of total destruction through Moses, but Moses himself will not be part of it. He just commands it. This is awful. Comment. So he says, but Moses himself will not be part of it. I say, but he commanded it. What do you mean he's not going to be a part of it? Sam Shamounian says, Hassamo, these commands of complete destruction of the Canaanites are very specific commandments and a not general freedom to deal this way with anybody you wish. So, our comments here again, Moses himself had absolutely nothing to do with any of this, or with the forged Old Testament, which was written centuries after he died. So Sam Shamoun says God gives the command of total destruction through Moses, but Moses himself will not be part of it. These commands of complete destruction of the Canaanites are very specific commandments and not a general freedom to deal this way with anybody you wish. Comments. Moses himself had absolutely nothing to do with any of this, or with the forged Old Testament, which was written centuries after he died. More comments. Who suspended the general implication of this law, which both Jews and Christians carried out sincerely and wholeheartedly throughout their long history against others and against each other? It is still being carried out against civilian Muslims even today in Gaza, using the tools of total war devised by the Christians and efficiently used by them and also by the Jews against humanity. Also, this by no means is the only instance that ordains total destruction of entire towns and mass killings of men, women, infants, breastfed babies, and animals, especially asses. Hassamo Shamounian says, Israel was never commanded nor promised an expansive kingdom outside the boundaries of Canaan. Israel in this, and this is in capital letters, Israel in this instance is God's tool of judgment on the evilness of the inhabitants of Canaan. This cannot and hasn't been generalized to other peoples. Our comment. So it is not really the fault of the Jews. It is God who ordered them to do it. The Jews are only innocent recipients of God's command. God did it. To add, killing Canaan's infants and babies, male and female, is as horrible as killing Chinese or African infants and babies. Telling the Canaan infants and babies they are to be killed specifically may not have made them feel better. Also, there are numerous instances of mass killings reported in the Old Testament which were carried out by the children of Israel as allegedly commanded by God, as they describe God in the Bible. Sam Shamounian says, Hassamo Shamounian, Hassamo Shamoun, not even other idolatrous nations. See, it's only specific just for those babies. Comment. But it apparently applies to monotheistic Muslim Palestinians, Lebanese, Syrians, Egyptians, and Jordanians, who the Jews have been killing for decades now. Even Christian Arab Palestinians suffered death and destruction at the hands of modern-day Jews who pretend to be Israelites. Hassamo Shamounian says, and this is God's judgment, capital letter, God's judgment, nothing, capital letters. Nothing is to be taken as personal spoil. Everything, capital letters, has to be destroyed. And this is God's judgment. Nothing is to be taken as personal spoil. Everything has to be destroyed. Comments. Including all male infants, but excluding all women, girl, virgins. Since the Old Testament alleges that the Jews kept those for themselves, didn't they? So this is spoil of war. Also, the Jews did not destroy everything, as we will soon find out, Allah willing. Hassamo Shamounian says, the soldiers fight in a battle of the Lord, not for their own enrichment. No booty and spoil of war for those who fought. Comment. The haha is mine. What about the 32,000 virgin girls? What became of them? Did they divide them? Were they kept as sexually untouchables? What about this? Numbers 31, 32, 34. 31 chapter, 32, 34 are the verses. 234, sorry. 32. The plunder remaining from the spoils that the soldiers took was 675,000 sheep. 33, verse 33, 72,000 cattle. Verse 34, 61,000 donkeys. Numbers 31, 32 to 34. Numbers surely knows its numbers, doesn't it? 675,000 sheep? Why? They got them from China? This is thousands of years ago. Palestine was this big as it still is today. These people had 32,000 virgin girls, still didn't have sex, all 3 years old and less, and 675,000 sheep, 72,000 cattle. I mean, really? It's not China or India. What about this? This is still our comment. The Lord said unto Joshua, I have given into thy hand the king of Ai, and his people, and his city, and his land. Only the spoil thereof, and the cattle thereof shall ye take for a prey unto yourselves. Yourselves is in the plural, so the spoil, cattle, and everything, pray for themselves to divide. Joshua 8, 1 to 2. This indeed refutes the false argument made here by the Evangelist about the Jews not keeping war booty for themselves. At least the Jews kept 32,000 virgin girls for themselves. and according to Numbers and Joshua, kept the spoils of Ai and the cattle and other animals also for themselves. Sam Shamounian says they are God's method / servants of punishment. It is God's victory and justice alone. In most of these encounters, the Israelites are vastly outnumbered or otherwise in complete disadvantage. Our comment here, so they were commanded to kill everyone. This bizarre explanation of mass murder justifies what the Jews do to others, since it is God who ordered it. Jews only innocently carry out God's command. They also took all the girls for themselves. God did all this, not the Jews, according to them. Sam Shamounian says they are not, capital letters, N-O-T, they are not to enter peace treaties with the people of the land until the Israelites have grown stronger and have the power to overcome them. Comment. Deuteronomy 20 details the terrible consequences of making peace or not making peace with Old Testament Israelites. Deuteronomy 20. Verse 1. When thou goest out to battle against thine enemies, and seest horses and chariots, and a people more than thou, be not afraid of them, for the Lord thy God is with thee, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. Verse 2. And it shall be when ye are come nigh into the battle, that the priest shall approach and speak unto the people. Verse 3. And shall say unto them, Hear, O Israel, ye approach this day unto battle against your enemies. Let not your hearts faint, nor fear not, and do not tremble. Neither be ye terrified because of them. Verse 4. For the Lord your God is he that goeth with you to fight for you against your enemies, to save you. Verse 10. When thou comest nigh unto a city to fight against it, then proclaim peace unto it. 11. And it shall be, if it make thee answer of peace and open unto thee, then it shall be that all the people that is found therein shall be tributaries, subordinates, slaves. So they make peace, they become slaves. Then it shall be that if it make thee answer of peace and open unto thee, then it shall be that all the people that is found therein shall be tributaries, subordinates, slaves unto thee, and they shall serve thee. Peace, slaves, everybody. 12. And if it will make no peace with thee, but will make war against thee, then thou shalt besiege it. 13. And when the Lord thy God has delivered it into thine hands, thou shalt smite every male thereof with the edge of the sword. Thou shalt smite every male thereof with the edge of the sword. 14. But the women and the little ones and the cattle and all that is in the city, even all the spoil thereof, shall thou take unto thyself, and thou shalt eat the spoil of thine enemies, which the Lord thy God has given thee. So, now thou shalt smite all the males, but the women and the little ones and the cattle and all that in the city, even all the spoil thereof, shall thou take unto yourself or thyself. 15. Thus shalt thou do unto all the cities which are very far off from thee, which are not of the cities of these nations, but of the cities, number 16 here, but of the cities of these people which the Lord thy God doth give thee for an inheritance. Thou shalt save alive nothing that breatheth. So the far cities, peace, slaves. No peace, all the males are gone, take everything else. Now, these are the cities that are far off. This now, verse 16, but of the cities of these people which the Lord thy God doth give thee for an inheritance, thou shalt save alive nothing that breatheth. 17. But thou shalt utterly destroy them, namely the Hittites, and the Amorites, the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, as the Lord thy God hath commanded thee. 18. That they teach you not, to do after all their abominations which they have done unto their gods, so should ye sin against the Lord thy God. 19. When thou shalt besiege a city a long time, in making war against it to take it, thou shalt not destroy the trees thereof by forcing an axe against them, for thou mayest eat of them, and thou shalt not cut them down, for the tree of the field is man's life, to employ them in the siege. 20. Only the trees which thou knowest that they be not trees for meat, thou shalt destroy and cut them down, and thou shalt build bulwarks against the city that maketh war with thee, until it be subdued. Deuteronomy 21 to 20. Chapter 20, verses 1 to 20. I be tired from reading all these thous and these. Sam Shamounian says, read Judges 6, where they even have to downsize by God's command. It was not them who won the battle, but the Lord alone. This is alone the Lord's business, none of theirs. God uses them. He helps them. They will inherit the land He has promised them, but no personal gain from spoils of war. Comment. What we quoted above from Joshua and Numbers refutes this false claim about the Jews not taking war booty for themselves. Again, the evangelical, and all evangelists actually, is ascribing these horrible crimes to God. They say the Old Testament is the literal word of God. So they ascribe all these crimes to God, forgetting that they believe that Jesus is God, or 1/3 of God. And also, according to their faith, Jesus did all this, because according to the Christians, Jesus is God. For the Jews to collect 32,000 virgins and also inheriting the land indeed constitute personal gain, doesn't it? See, there is personal gain. 32,000 girls, the cattle and all that stuff, and the land to inherit. This is personal, isn't it? They're not going to keep it public for everybody. They're going to divide it.